Pole position for Oscar Piastri at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix in Imola. Max Verstappen in second, George Russell in third. 1.1 seconds separating first and a 10th place. Gabriel Bortoleto advances to Q2. Hülkenberg does not. Colapinto and Tsunoda crash hard, causing two red flags. Let's quickly talk about this qualifying session. Sun among clouds, 22 degrees ambient temperature, 41 on the track. Not as hot as yesterday when it reached 45, but still, you can't say the track was cool. The exit for Q1, the line was already formed with the Sauber cars in front, Hülkenberg and Bortoleto, when the pit lane light turned green. 20 cars, 15 spots available for Q2. Bortoleto was ahead of Hülkenberg in the first 3 sessions of this weekend, FP1, 2, and 3, while at the front it was all McLaren FP1 and 2 for Piastri, FP3 for Lando Norris. The first to set laps were the Sauber and Haas cars, all equipped with Ferrari engines. Bortoleto, 16.698, almost 16.7. Behrman, 16.9. Hülkenberg and Ocon, 17.0. But in that order. Alonso went through and did a 16.2. Hamilton did his lap 20 thousandths behind Alonso. Aston Martin showed some spark this weekend, but it doesn't explain Ferrari running behind. Albon went through and put Williams on top with a 16.1. Sainz was 4th, and I want to emphasize that I thought Sainz would easily beat Albon from the start. But Albon has been responding very well. In fact, I'd even say he's improved his performance this year. Verstappen was the first of the front runners to start his lap. He set a purple first sector, had a very strong second sector, and just as he was approaching Aqua Mineral, the broadcast quickly cut to a wrecked Red Bull. For a second, I thought he was the one who crashed. What did I miss? But it was actually Yuki Tsunoda who spun out after hitting the barriers at the second chicane and completely destroyed his Red Bull, which immediately brought out the new red flag. Because of the sensors in his glove and in the car, the medical car was dispatched right away to check on him. The interruption lasted about 5 to 7 minutes. There were 12 minutes and 13 seconds left in Q1, and as we know, in qualifying, the clock stops during a red flag. Watching the replay from Tsunoda's onboard camera, the dynamics became clear. He pushed too hard, took too much curb on the entry, and when the car went over the curb, the rear and the floor hit the asphalt. That stopped the airflow underneath, causing a sudden loss of downforce. And then it was game over. Tsunoda was quickly attended to and was fine. But the car was a write-off, along with the mechanics' happy hour. Everyone lined up at the pit lane exit again, with the Saubers leading the pack. But ahead of them was Franco Colapinto, who was a bit too eager and left before the session was officially resumed. As a result, he was put under investigation by the stewards. Gasly went out and put his Alpine on top with a 1:15.9. Then Alonso came in with a 1:15.6. Look at that Aston Martin. But Verstappen ended the fun with a 1:15.1. The McLarens were still to come, and we thought any moment now they'll put their cars at the front. They've been leading all weekend, right? They put 30 seconds on everyone in Miami, didn't they? Wrong! Because Piastri did his lap 3/10 slower than Verstappen and Norris did his 4/10 slower than Piastri. So they were 7/10 off the top. The projected cutoff time was 1:15.9. Bortoleto and Hülkenberg had at that point a 1:16.6, so they would have to improve quite a bit or risk elimination. Both Saubers were doing their laps at almost the same time. Bortoleto did the first sector, so drawing 295 seconds better than the cutoff needed to advance, which was set by Lawson. Then, he dropped a little to 0.181 better and just barely made it, crossing the line less than a tenth ahead. But he made it, 15th place. Meanwhile, Hülkenberg in the first part of Rivazza went wide and threw away his lap, so he didn't improve. But a lot of people were still coming to set times, including both Haas cars, who at that point were direct rivals, to see who would make it to Q2. Ocon and Behrman were also on laps. But then Argentina helped Brazil because Colapinto at the Tamburello chicane lost the car in a way similar to Tsunoda in the previous section, except it was a right-hander instead of a left, like it was for the Japanese Red Bull driver. But he also lost the car after hitting the curb, and that was it. He hit the barriers hard, red flag. At that moment, 𝘖𝙗𝙗 thought, with this, Bortoleto is through, but suddenly, 𝘾𝙗𝙗's name appeared, finishing his lap and moving up to 10th, pushing Bortoleto down to 16th. But I thought, wasn't that under red flag? That's exactly what the stewards thought too. After the red flag comes out, you can't finish your lap. No matter if the accident is up, ahead. So 𝘾𝙗𝙗's lap was deleted. Bortoleto advanced to Q2 in 15th place. Eliminated. Lawson, Hülkenberg, Ocon, 𝘾𝙗𝙗, and Tsunoda. Verstappen started Q2 with a 1:15.4, putting his car in first place. Bortoleto did his lap in 1:16.8. Leclerc did a 1:15.6. Hamilton a 1:15.7, and then Russell moved up to second, putting his Mercedes just 0.151 behind Verstappen. Then Norris, who in Q1 looked like he might be out of contention, did a 1:15.2 and went to first. Piastri was still to finish his lap, and he was setting a purple sector. He crossed the line with a 1:15.2 as well, but 0.20 seconds faster than Norris. 0.8 of a second separated the top 10, with Antonelli in 10th, racing at home, and Colapinto having made it to Q2 because he had set a time before his crash. Bortoleto would be at least 14th since 15 advanced, but Colapinto wouldn't be able to set a time. An excellent result. This is his third Q2 appearance. It happened in Australia, in Miami, and now at Imola. I watched his entire second attempt on board. It was a beautiful, fast lap with no mistakes. He improved by 0.4 compared to his own time in the first attempt, and provisionally, he was in 12th place. The problem was that behind him, at that moment, looking to improve, were not only Colapinto, who wouldn't be able to set a time, but also Albon and Gasly, two cars that had appeared in the top 3. Meanwhile, at the top of the timesheet, Carlos Sainz set a 1:15.198, pushing both McLarens, Piastri and Norris down to second and third. Antonelli was in the elimination zone, did his lap, but didn't improve enough to escape and was knocked out. And the ones who were also knocked out by 2 Aston Martins that went out on track with medium tires, going against the logic of qualifying where you want maximum performance, and that comes from the soft tire, were the Ferraris. Leclerc and Hamilton were 9th and 10th, making it through. Stroll and Alonso moved up the timesheet and pushed Charles and Lewis down to P11 and P12. Ferrari out of Q3, just like Antonelli. Drama, this is for the Italian fans. So, eliminated were Leclerc, Hamilton, Antonelli, Bortoleto, and Colapinto. The 2 Ferraris, the home driver, a Brazilian and an Argentine. Q3 started at 12:20 our time, obviously delayed because of the 2 previous interruptions. Norris was the first of the front runners to go out, setting a 1:14.9. Piastri went out and did a 1:14.8. Max Verstappen sent a message with a 1:14.7. Russell came and set the 4th fastest time, and what could the 2 Williams manage? Almost nothing. Disappointing times, 8th and 9th, even behind both Aston Martins, which at this point were truly the surprise of the weekend. Then I quickly went back to watch Carlos Sainz's onboard in Q2, and he caught a phenomenal slipstream from Bortoleto, who was finishing his lap just as Sainz was starting his, and that gave him quite a bit of help. The same thing had happened with Albon in Q1, who used the slipstream from the other Sauber, from Hülkenberg, but there was still one more round to go before Q3, and the benchmark time was Verstappen's, due a 1:14, 772. Piastri came and did a first sector, slower than Verstappen by 0.065 seconds, but in the lap breakdown, Red Bull had been better in the first sector. So, being slower at this stage wasn't bad for Piastri because he could make up for it in the rest, and that's what he did, as he set a purple sector in the second part of the lap, and at the finish line improved to a 1:14.70, 0.102 seconds, 1/10 and 0.002 faster than Verstappen, who still had his lap to finish, and Lando Norris was also coming. Verstappen had a purple first sector, improving on his own time. Norris crossed the line and didn't even improve on his own time. 0.6 off the lead. Provisionally, In third place, Verstappen came through, improved, but not enough. 34 thousandths behind the top. But Russell was still left, coming on a fast lap and could suddenly cause trouble. And he did, but not for the two in front. He troubled Norris, who dropped to fourth. Russell took third with a Mercedes fitted with medium tires mimicking Aston Martin's strategy. So the result, pole position for Oscar Piastri, who will start from first place tomorrow and will naturally share the chicane with Verstappen at the first braking zone. There's no doubt about that. Who's going to be pushed off the track this time? So Verstappen was second, third George Russell, fourth Lando Norris. Lando Norris, fifth for a suddenly reborn Fernando Alonso, who has had a very discreet year so far, has 0 points. Sixth goes to Sainz. Seventh for Alexander Albon. Williams performing very well in the high-speed sections at Imola. Eighth for Stroll, ninth for Isaac Hadjar, 10th for Gasly, who promised everything and delivered nothing in this qualifying session. 10 cars separated by just 1 seconds. Do you know why I'm saying this? It's because everyone says that Formula One has become rubbish, that it used to be much better in the past. Do you know what the gap was on the starting grid at the Imola Grand Prix in 1993? From first to 10th, 8 seconds. From first to last, 7 seconds. Oh, Rodrigo, but 1993, the year of Williams, was from another planet. All right, so let's take 1991 then. With Senna in front, from first to 10th, 8 seconds difference. From first to last, I'll tell you now. 8. Got it? Be grateful. We're living in wonderful times. You already know the rest of the qualifying order. 11th, Leclerc. 12th, Lewis Hamilton. 13th, Kimi Antonelli. 14th, Gabriel Bortoleto. 15th, Franco Colapinto. 16th, Lawson. 17th, Nico Hülkenberg. 18th, Esteban Ocon. 19th, Oliver Behrman. And 20th, Yuki Tsunoda, who ruined his mechanics' happy hour. Same thing for Colapinto. What can we expect for tomorrow? Well, the forecast is for warm weather, 23 degrees. Track temperature should be around 41, 42 degrees like today, so it will be a race with high tire degradation, especially because Pirelli chose the softest compound range. It's a fast track with some high-speed corners that really wear out the tires. The forecast calls for a 15% chance of rain at race time, and today we saw some images around the circuit showing heavy clouds. Will that be a factor? It's summer over there, so sometimes, you know how it is, it looks like it won't rain and suddenly it does, but that doesn't seem to be the case this time. I think we'll have a dry race, and if it is dry, everything will depend on the first corner. Piastri and Verstappen sharing the first braking zone. Whoever manages to get ahead will have the chance to set the pace, push harder, or save their tires. And McLaren has an advantage. 2 cars so they can use Norris to put pressure on Verstappen with a possible undercut, especially since Norris also wants to fight for this win. And Verstappen is on his own, unable to use the other car to defend himself because Tsunoda is starting way back in 20th. Bortoleto starts from 14th and under normal conditions with a dry track probably won't have the pace to get into the points zone. But as Hülkenberg did in Australia, for example, by surviving and staying out of trouble, sometimes you can capitalize. The important thing is to finish ahead of his teammate, have a solid race without making mistakes, rack up mileage, and keep building on this upward trend as he adapts more and more. That's actually what I talked about with his father the week before last at Stock Car. I remember last year in Formula 2, he had a tough start and then a really strong upward curve in the second half of the season when he actually went after the lead, and won the championship. We're already past the first quarter of the year, and if he manages to maintain this trend of consistently staying ahead of Hülkenberg, who is a fast driver, he'll be doing an excellent job and will show a lot within the team because he, for sure, knows what to aim for in terms of results and what to look for in the data. Tomorrow, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix in Imola starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, and at 9:45, 9:45, we'll begin our parallel broadcast here, live and without images, a second screen for you on another channel, with Mateus Ornelas on commentary, me, Rodrigo Adem, providing analysis, and Julian Serasoli, that's right, talking to me through the earpiece. sending insights and information from someone who's used to following things on sites, knows a lot of people, giving us an extra perspective to point things out, saying to us, did you see this? Did you see that? Our new partner contributing here to our broadcast on the other channel. A shout out to Juliana, who does an excellent job writing and also recording videos on her channel. Do you already know her channel? I'll leave the link down below. I'll be waiting for you. It's a date 9:15 live. I'll leave the link to the live stream, which is already set up, down below. Deal? While you wait, there's content for you to watch. I've been talking about 3 videos. Sunday, Teams We Love, Sauber, Tuesday's video, Gadgets, Part 3, and the remarkable story of when Lancer won the 1987 Indianapolis 500 with a show car. But I remembered one more piece of content that's totally related to tomorrow's race. My track walk, my complete meter-by-meter walk around the Imola circuit. I recorded this content in 2023 under the relentless sun of the Italian summer. It's worth checking out. All right, so leave a like. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. You know, it really helps the channel a lot. Now, do me this favor, do us this favor, and I'll see you here tomorrow at 8:45 for our parallel broadcast. The race ends, the checkered flag waves, we wrap up, and I'll be back here at 6 p.m. for our post-race live stream, answering your questions, your super chats, and sharing the usual laughs in our post-race recap, talking about everything that happened on and off the track. Deal? So I'll take this chance to say, you already know what? That I'm going to ask you to leave a little comment. So leave your prediction for tomorrow's race. Who's going to win? The podium, first, second, and third? Where will Bortoleto finish? Will Ferrari manage to recover from the embarrassment of not making it to Q3 today? Don't feel like commenting on any of that? Just drop a little emoji down here, tell us where you're watching from, send a shout out, or leave a message for your wife. Finally, we've moved up to 5th place in the iBest voting, being the most voted channel in the last 24 hours. Can you believe it? That's right. I'll leave the voting link right below the video title here in the description. Vote for us. Let's show everyone the strength of our community. As I said yesterday, we are a plague. Deal? That's it then. Have a great Saturday. I'll see you here tomorrow at 8:45. Big hug. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.